Live on stage, the sound
of Orlando.
So, is they ready?
Yes.
The sound
of Orlando.
Yo, what's going on, party people? What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Sound of Orlando show. This is your boy Rome, man. It is a Monday. We're back, and there's a lot of stuff going out in the world right now, especially today. Today's a busy day as far as what is going on out here, man. And like I always do before we start the show, man, if you know anybody that is going through anything right now, that is suffering, and maybe are not talking about certain things, being kind of, I'm all right, I'm okay, I'm good, which is good because, we're all kind of saying that in our own ways. But, man, just try to reach out, man. Try to talk to them. There's numbers that they could call. But more than anything else, man, be a friend, man. Be a global family member, man, because a lot of people are going through things right now, and we all need each other in this day and age. Also like to send a shout out to all of my people who are out there, on some G shit, just out there supporting the show, buying the t-shirts. We just got a new shipment in from my brother Jesse Jazz. I'm very happy to say, he's just been one helpful dude. Tonight's sponsor is 5-Star Graphics. If you need printing, business cards, t-shirts, anything, in dealing with graphic art design, he is a legendary DJ, a legendary promoter, and he's also legendary in the printing game. I know I just got some shirts from my brother, and man, thank you for all your support. And one last thing before we get into the show, just like I said, we're out here every day trying to make a difference in the city. This show is about our city. It's not about me. It's about bringing not only our people to market, letting others know that we got something to say out here, but it's also about bringing people from across the country as well as the world to have a conversation about what they're doing and things we need to be looking out for. And this episode is definitely one of those episodes. Hailing from Sacramento, California, our next guest is a visual artist. She is a recording artist. She's just doing the most right now. She had a earlier music career. She took a 10-year hiatus, and now she's back with a new song called Bankroll, featuring Cuzzo Fly from the Loonies, the legendary group, the Loonies, man. I got 5 on it. You already know. And I mean, the list goes on of how talented my next guest is. And I'm so honored that she's blessing us tonight with part of her story of growing up on that West Coast and continuing to do things across the globe, and just making her contribution into this thing of ours we call culture, we call hip hop, we call the movement. So without any further ado, give it up for my sister, the one and only Haley Jane. Was good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on the show, the Sound of Orlando show. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Orlando. So dope you can spend some time with us and talk about what things is like on the west side of things. And, because we're like the East Coast California in my view. We got that same coast. In fact, we got 2 coasts. And
right.
But yeah, it's similar in living conditions, but West Coast, y'all vibe is like totally dope and different. Like y'all moving your own waves. Talk about what it was like for those that don't know who you are. What was it like growing up in the West Coast, and how did you come to this thing of ours called hip hop and the culture and and just music in general, just the arts, if you will.
Well, when I was younger, I was in choir, so I've always loved music. It wasn't until I was I think 19, I had seen my first recording studio. My ex was a music producer, and I would go in there and draw and just hang out. And I'd watch artists record and write music and play instruments, and I fell in love with it. And then I was like, oh my God, I want to try this. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. It was horrible at first.
Right. Like a lot of artists who start out.
Fell in love with it. It was exciting, you know? And I was already an artist, and anything creative I love to do. Any kind of art form, I like to, like, it's a challenge for me. It's like, I want to try it and I want to tackle it, and then I want to master it. It's because I get bored with one art form. So music was just like another thing to like try and like tackle, you know?
Right. Dope. And Sacramento, for those that don't know, you know, or because I know I'm going to say this and it sounds completely horrible, but a lot of people are just bad with geography. Like they don't know where the hell, you know.
Right. So, they always think I'm in LA. I'm like, no, that's 6 hours away.
Right. And you up north.
6 hours. We're more towards San Francisco, 2 hours from near San Francisco. And it's the capital of California. So it's a different kind of vibe up there too. Like it's a whole next vibe, that Oakland, that Bay Area, that Sacramento. What, you know, quickly tell people what makes the north side of things different from the south side of things in California. What's the vibe that stands out to you? How would I differentiate that? Well, I don't know. Like, I love LA. LA is really fun. I think that the people are way different. I think that maybe people from Sacramento are more down to earth, but they can also be kind of snobby at the same time, just because I don't know. I feel like it's a melting pot of different types of people. So yeah, they're down to earth, but then they kind of hate on each other, which is annoying. That's the only thing I don't like about Sacramento. But I feel like we're more down to earth out there for sure than LA, because LA, it's, you know, like Hollywood, you know how they always say like you're acting Hollywood or whatever.
Right.
They say that for a reason, because people that live in LA really act like that. So
now you got a clothing line, and that's pretty damn dope, because those are one of those businesses where people are always going to need something to wear. People are always going to want to look fly, look fresh. Talk about you know, your clothing line and Dream World Clothing, and how did that get started? What was the conception of it like? And you know, is it something that everyone can get? Obviously, maybe online, or do you have a storefront? Like, talk about those things.
So I'm actually wearing it right now. I make hats, t-shirts, hoodies. I just started doing shorts, pants, and like sweat fits. But I started with hats and t-shirts at first. But it's kind of crazy how I even started doing clothing in general, because when I was 19, when I was just doing all these different art forms, I would hand paint hats and t-shirts and hoodies and shoes.
Oh, wow.
They were like one-offs. There was no way I could hand paint multiple things, because you know what I mean? It's hard to do. But I didn't know how to do graphics, and I didn't know anything about printing. So that was a challenge. And then I gave up on art for like 10, 12 years, and then came back to doing it when I was pregnant with my son. But then once I had my son, it was hard to actually do the art, because, you know, with a baby, that's a full-time thing. And then art is a baby itself. It takes a lot of work to, you know, do the art. And then you have to sell the art, market the art. It's a lot of tedious tasks involved with it. And so, I started with the hand painting thing, came back to it. I started doing art 10 years later, 12, I don't know exact time frame, but it was 2018. I was like, I really miss doing art. I want to try and do it again. And so for like 6 months, I was just doing art. And then I had an art show in Atlanta. My friend, his name is Jamoke, he has a company called Athletes for Art. So he has athletes that have some kind of artistic ability, and then he puts together art shows. But he and I are friends. So he was like, you know, why don't you showcase at the Super Bowl when we go out there to Atlanta? This was 2019. And showcase your artwork and make some t-shirts so you can sell the t-shirts while you're there too. So
Dope.
I hadn't done t-shirts since I was 19. I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do some t-shirts. So I did 50 t-shirts. They were pretty basic. It was just white t-shirts with black, graphic design it's an image that I designed, and then black t-shirts with white. So it was like, 50 of them, half and half were white, half were black. And so I took them to Atlanta to the art show, and my stylist friend is Ludacris's personal stylist. And I just gave him some t-shirts, and I was like, hey, if any of your clients, want to wear these, like, here you go. And gifted it to him. And he surprised me 2 days later and sent me a picture of Ludacris wearing it on stage at the Super Bowl concert.
Dope.
And I was like, oh, crap. Like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't expecting that. So then at that point, I made the decision to start a clothing line as another branch of my artistic, company that I was already working on. So it was just another form of art, with my artwork on clothing that I could sell, because, people were asking, where can we're going to get Dream World. At the time, that wasn't even the name yet. I didn't even know what to call it. I had no idea. So that's how that happened. And then I've just been building. I've been, learning as I go. I had no idea what I was doing. Luckily, Tyrone, aka Cuzzo Fly, he really helped me get into the wholesale side of things with my apparel line, because he represents Planet of the Grapes clothing, which is out of the Bay Area, and him and Jesse go to all these trade shows. They go to the Cobb Convention, which that's right now where I am. Right. I'm in Atlanta it's called the Cobb Clothing Convention. So they go to the Cobb Clothing Convention and to Magic Clothing Convention in Las Vegas. So they introduced me to that whole world of wholesale, where buyers, they place orders at a discounted rate of your clothing. So like you have your direct to consumer, which is you sell either in a storefront where you sell directly to the consumer, or you have an online store where you sell directly to the consumer, or you can do wholesale where you sell to the actual stores. And these stores have buyers, and the buyers come to these conventions, and you only have samples. You don't have like a stock of merchandise. You only have samples, and the buyers come and they're like, I want this, I want this, I want 12 of these shirts, I want this size, this size, this size, this size, I want that shirt, I want these shorts, I want this hat. So that's what these conventions are. They're not really open to consumers. They're for buyers, for clothing stores. So
man, you just dropped some bombs on the people that are out here trying to sell retail, get in that retail market, and have, like you said, that discount, that look. I mean, once it's in the stores, it's really like that takes you to a whole nother level as far as promotions, because now people see your stuff in the stores and they're gonna buy it regardless from you or from the store. Now they're gonna want to do it. And that's crazy because when you see all these online printing and apparel shops where you can go and have it printed and then sell it to your consumer, but it's for people that don't know how much goes into that. I'm pretty sure it's like you were saying, there's a lot of legwork. It's not like right.
It's a lot.
Right. Because you're not only do you have to design and get everything ready, but then you have to go out and now sell it to the people, the business owners. And what time do you have to do like you said, the art, which requires time,
right?
Like you and you have to be like free mentally to even focus on it. What's your regimen? How do you stay focused doing artwork? I mean, shit, you were at the Art Basel, you're in New York. Like, what's your regimen? How do you stay focused and stay on schedule and allot your day to kind of do a little bit of everything?
Well, I'm basically like a robot.
Right.
No, like seriously.
Talk about it.
Like, girl, you're like a robot. Like you you're always working. It's crazy. Don't you get tired? Like, I definitely get tired, but
Right.
I work a lot. Between having I have a child too. I have an 8-year-old child. So between him, the clothing, the art, and the music, it's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot. But my downtime, like say some people when they want to relax, they watch TV or they hang out with friends or whatever, whatever their downtime looks like. My downtime is painting. So that's what I like to do.
You see what I'm talking about? Look, stop. Just stop. You see what I'm talking about, people? Are you listening, Orlando? This is why there is a portion of our population, when you ask them to do something, they're like, I can't. And you'll be like, nah, dog, why you can't leave, man? Somebody got you locked up, man. No, yeah, it's your art. Like, a lot of people don't realize the time, your downtime is actually artwork and doing, like, for me, same thing. Like, I'm a DJ, I'm a producer. So anytime I could get to just, I'm gonna make some music today, or
Right.
get on the turntables and or do or practice for the radio, whatever I need to do, man, that shit is everything, man. That shit is everything.
And when you really enjoy something, when you really love something, it's not really working. It's actually like decompressing. So I'm
Right.
sure DJing or producing to you is like relaxing to you. You're like, okay, now it's time for me to relax. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and that's
Right.
what it's like. I can like decompress and I can just like kind of just vibe out.
And you could take all the numbers out of your head. How much does this cost? How many people bought this? Or who's gonna call me next? Or how many emails do I got? You could take all of that shit and let it go when you're doing your art. And I was just talking to somebody the other day. When you have a life of purpose, as loving and as dope a purpose is greedy.
Mm-hmm.
It don't care what you got. It don't care what else you got to do. Like, it'll take up 24 hours if you let it, because it's your purpose. Like, you feel at home. You feel like, man, this is everything. And then so art, clothing line, music. That's a lot, man. Mother. Woo!
Help!
Look at here. Help me. Help me. I mean, that takes a certain level of crazy. Like,
yeah.
I know I'm crazy. I usually help people out and say I'm crazy before, they say I'm crazy. But that's a wild level of crazy. And you have to have it. That's a requirement. You have to literally be insane to devote, some people call it living, and I call it living too. Like, you're living, like you're alive. You feel everything. But from a woman's perspective, how does that full day or full days, how does that feel to you as an artist of your caliber?
How do I feel?
Yeah, like how does it, outside of the tired, but just do you feel blessed, or is it stressful?
It depends on the day. Some days I feel like I'm cursed. Some days I feel like I'm blessed. Some days I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack and I'm gonna
right. Because and the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of artists to your caliber, and we were just talking about this a couple of days ago, just about what it takes to be an artist, and and really pursue what you came to do, and that because you're at that level of kind of doing what you do, it's difficult to have conversations with people outside of that sphere. So then that leaves you having to internalize a lot just to get through the day. So if you ain't got nobody to talk to, if you don't have, because we see people suffering throughout the industry right now, and it's been that way. It's not an easy thing to kind of maintain turbo every day without crashing. Do you find it, like you said, you find it easier, harder on some days to just kind of, and then do you have those moments where you're like, fuck everything, I'm done and I'm going somewhere and I'm going to, like you said, don't call me, don't email, right? Don't email me, don't say shit.
Saturday.
Right. Like
everything was going wrong. Missed my flight.
Right.
They charged me twice for my hotel room, so double the price coming to Atlanta. I brought all my samples to showcase for the convention.
Right.
And my suitcase zipper broke, and it was raining out here, and my Uber driver almost dumped all my samples on the ground. So
wow.
Luckily he didn't. Thank God he didn't, because then I probably wouldn't have sold anything. But yeah, it's like days like those where you think that like the world is against you, because it's just like, what the heck is going on today? That you know, but then something crazy, amazing will happen, and you're like, wow, that's why all that negative energy was trying to like stop you, and you just gotta just keep going. You just gotta keep going. And just like let it like kind of roll off your back, you know, let it upset you at that moment, and then just get over it and keep pushing. Right. It's like you fall, you keep going, you get up, you keep going, you fall.
It's a workout. It's like the literally workout. Like when they tell you keep pushing through, get to that 5 mile mark. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's intense, and given your itinerary here of life, it just, I mean, kudos to you for being able to be all places at all times sometimes. Talk about your music project, and what was the thought patterns? What did you hear the music out today, you hear everything that's going on. What inspired you to start to get back into the music aspect and come with this like new wave of what's going on? We just got out of a pandemic, so a lot of people have their ears open and still do. Yeah, like they're wanting to hear something else. Talk about what inspired you to get this project going.
Well, it's crazy because, like I was saying to you, I didn't, that you mentioned, I mean, I hadn't recorded in a very long time. Right. And I think it was because, like, first off, I released a music video on WorldStar, and they were horrible. The things that they said were horrible. And I think it discouraged me from wanting to release anything for a while.
Could you go explore that real quick, just for our listeners that may not understand what you're talking about?
There's what is it called? They call it I can't think of it right now. With trolling.
Trolling. Okay, gotcha.
That's the thing.
Right.
So I think that just kind of discouraged me from wanting to release music, because I like the part of music where I can be creative. I'm in love with the process of making music, the writing, the recording, like the vibe, like that you get. I love that part. But when you release something that's like precious to you, to the world, not everyone's gonna perceive it like you do. They don't understand, and like not everyone. Some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. But that's the thing with art. Some people love it, some people hate it. You know, some people are like, why is this like abstract painting that looks like 2 lines and some color selling for $20,000? But some people are like, oh my God, I have to have that. You know, it's just a perception. From some people love it, some people don't. And you make yourself vulnerable when you release stuff like that, something that you create.
Well, anything in the public eye, you put yourself out there for criticism, and it sucks. And as somebody that, has a show that interviews people, I hear it all the time. I hear, without them even saying it, people feel burned. People feel like, disrespected, so as a musician, as somebody that, or someone that's in the music, you put a project together, you put it out there. And like you said, we're all kind of prisoners of our own world sometimes. There's so many people that would love it, and they don't live near anywhere near you, or they're not your friends, or they're
Right.
not your people. And for most people, they base their entire thing on your hometown and your people, and it sucks. I mean, I'm one, like I said, I got a show called The Sound of Orlando, simply because we want our sound exposed, and it has been used, like our sound has been taken by others, in Atlanta, Miami, but never given credit to here. And sometimes things are ahead of its time. And that's another thing that you can hang your hat on. Not, like you said, not everything is meant for consumption right now or through the people that you want to have it consumed. But it doesn't help that people like to put everything in one little box.
Mhm.
Art is bigger than that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when I decided to create this project, it was an artist named Class. We were dating at the time, and he kind of got me out of that shell because he is an R&B singer and he raps as well.
Dope.
And so he was like, we should just do a song. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, because, I had those like hesitating
Right.
opinions about wanting to release anything else. And so he was like, no, let's just do it. And I love writing. Like I still have been writing over the years. I just never was recording anything or releasing anything. Like sometimes I'll just get these ideas that'll pop in my head. Like I'll be sleeping and I'll wake up and there'll be like a melody in my head, or like I'll be driving or I'll be at the grocery store and I'll record these on like an app that you can record things. And then I just save them. And so when he was saying that, I was like, you know what? I do have like some ideas that I've wanted to like put something together. So we just started writing, and we have one song that we started with. It's called Down. The song's called Down. And basically the hook is I flipped Brandy's lyrics. The song.
Oh, okay. Got you.
But he's singing it. So it's a male singer instead. And it's, the melody is different. So it switched it up a little bit. But I really like that one a lot. There's I think 3 really strong songs on that project that we did. There's 8 songs altogether. One we released, which we just released, is called Vacation. That one's on Spotify, SoundCloud, pretty much all platforms, Apple Music. So yeah, it's out there. That one, it's more like island vibes. It's called Vacation. So it's basically saying that like the person that you care about, being with them is like being on a vacation. You don't have to actually travel anywhere. Just being with them like makes you feel like you're on a vacation because the vibe is so good. And
we definitely know about vacations being up in here in Florida, bro. We know vacations, like, and we know the islands too. Shout out to all my island folks out there, man, from the West Indies. But yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Like, and shout out to the Loonies, man. They have been one of the legends in hip hop music. They had their own sound. We definitely supported them out here. I mean, when I Got 5 on it came out, I mean, that was just a worldwide smash. What is it like to work with those legends like that?
Well, I did a song with Tyrone. I've been his name's Cuzzo Fly. I've known him for like 16 years. He's been a really good friend of mine for a long time. Him and his wife, Shelly. Shelly is amazing. They're just really good people. And they're genuine. They want to help. They want to see you doing good. And I just love that about them. And Tyrone became part of the Loonies, I think about, I want to say probably like 4 or 5 years ago, somewhere around that time frame.
Yeah.
And so him and Yuckmouth been touring and doing all that for quite a few years now. And Tyrone and I, since we've been friends so long, we were like, we should do a song together. Why haven't we done any songs together? And we just did one and decided to put it out. So I
think that is dope too, because you just highlighted what is so dope right now. They took all the value away from music and it's gone, but they didn't rob us of why music feels so good and why we should just make it just cause. Like, we haven't been robbed of that yet. And so that's dope. Like, the idea that you can say, hey, let's just do a song and put it out. I think that should be inspiring to any artist out there. You know, fuck a label, you know, fuck having to have 10,000 followers or some crazy brand. Just put it out. The world needs music right now. We all need that soundtrack right now, given everything we've gone through. We need all that. So dope. So you said Bankroll, and then you got another song out. Talk about that one.
Vacation.
Vacation. And just the idea, yeah. And so this project is on all platforms, correct?
Yes. So the actual album, it comes out on May 1st.
Okay.
It's called Work of Art. That's the name of the album. But we released a single called Vacation on Thursday. So that was the 8th, I think. Yeah, the 8th. So I released 2 songs on the same day. The one with Cuzzo Fly. It's called Bankroll with Cuzzo Fly. And my artist name is Haley J. So it's a little different than my regular art name. My art name is Haley Jane. And then my artist name for music is Haley J with the A upside down, because there was another Haley Jane out there. So I didn't want to like confuse things with her following, because, you know, as an artist, you don't want someone to take what you've built. So I wanted to be respectful of that. So, so yeah, that's why I chose Haley J. So it's H-A-L, well, it's actually a V. So H-V-L-E-Y and then J. And then the other artist on the song is Class. So it's C-L-A $. So Class was my ex, and we did a whole project together called Work of Art, and it's really dope. I'm so excited to release it.
Can you talk about some of the production? Who do you have producing that we need to be looking out for?
For the Work of Art album, we had Q made the beat. He did all the engineering. He helped with melodies. He is awesome. He has a really cool studio. He's awesome person. He's very talented. Sure. So he helped us with the project and helped put it together and made it sound really good. So yeah, I'm just really excited about it. The 3 top songs on that album, I would say, is Work of Art. That's one of the songs. Down. And the other one's called Wet. So those 3 are my favorite on there. I also really like one called Beautiful Dreamer. That one's just very it's very like special to me, because it's called Beautiful Dreamer. So it just talks about, like, you know, just dreaming. You know, my company is called Dream World. So dreams are just very important to me, because that's, you know, my son's legacy, and what I work so hard for is, you know, to accomplish my dreams, and not only to not like self-benefiting, but, you know, I'm putting something out there that people can love and enjoy, and my art's always going to be out there, like, you know, when I die. And so it's like a legacy. So you know, it's just
what to you, when you look at the music industry, what to you stands out? What do you see a wave of change coming that will allow for artists from all kind of backgrounds and genres, without the labels, without having, you know, necessarily the big money corporations backing them? Do you see a space now for yourself and others to put out some good stuff?
Well, I mean, they have things like DistroKid, and they have United Masters. They have a lot of different platforms where you can actually release your music without a label. But, you know, building that following is the hard part. So if you want to do it without the label, then you're going to have to market yourself. You can't just, you know, sit at home doing nothing. You have to grind. You have to, share it with people. You have to promote it. You have to, do interviews. You have to network, meet people, share your music, just whatever you can do. I think that, it's definitely hard, that avenue, and with a label. Being with a label is not easy, because if you don't, the numbers don't add up, they're going to drop you, or they might shelf you. They might, sign you, but they're not going to put you a priority if you're not diligently like promoting yourself as well. So even it's like having your stuff in a store as well. Like say if you have your stuff in a Target and people don't know that your stuff is in Target, they might not carry your products anymore if it's not selling well. You have to like create your own buzz, as well as, even if you are signed.
As if you didn't have a lack of time now, and to your point, how important is it to you to have people in your corner that help you? I mean, because it's not easy. I mean, everybody likes to be the hero, but they don't like when the hero is in the bad part of the movie where he dies, like Superman in Justice League, or like nobody wants that part. They just want the part where the parade is happening. But talk about what it is to have that team present and having people in your corner on many levels. Like maybe it's watching your kids, maybe it's helping you to do some scheduling. Talk about that. What it takes as a team to do this.
It's definitely very important. I wouldn't have gotten this far if Tyrone wasn't in my life, and Shelly. They've helped me, go to the conventions, help me set up my booths. Just people along the way, just even random people that I don't even know that well that are just like willing to help. Like when my zipper on my suitcase broke, and this man at the convention was like so nice to even just help me like carry in all my stuff. He didn't even know me. So it's just like people that are just genuinely good people that have just helped me. Or like my mom, who watches my son while I go to these conventions. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if I didn't have people like that in my life. Or even just my friends when I'm so like distraught and like stressed out, just them like encouraging me to keep going and just to like not let it like get me upset.
Right. Because you hear this all the time. You hear this narrative sometimes where, the premise or the idea, like, I don't need nobody. I don't need no man. I don't need nobody. I don't need no woman. I don't need this. I don't need that. But yet want the world. And how do you get the world without needing nobody? Like you need all of it, and you need a lot of the help sometimes is the unsung heroes of it all. The people that don't always get the credit. They'll work in the background. They're the engineer, they're the driver, they're the producer, they're the people that make all this happen. Do you feel like this is a stupid question, but it ain't Santa Claus. Do you feel that it's all worth it at the end of the day to pursue your dream and to do what you're doing right now?
Well, I feel like I'm very spiritual and religious. I think that I wouldn't have been blessed with these talents, if I wasn't supposed to do this. I wouldn't have it in my heart to be like, I need to go do this if it wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? I feel like each and every one of us has like some kind of talent, and finding out what that talent is the biggest thing. And then figuring out how to accomplish these talents is a whole nother thing. And I genuinely think that it's worth it. At times I question it.
Right. I mean, Jesus asked, why you forsaking me? I mean, there's plenty of people. Jonah in the Bible said, nah, I don't want to go there. And he got sent right to the well. Like, okay, just go over there then. And, so there's a lot of people that question things. I don't think the questions are the bad things. I think what it is, to live a life in which, you wanted to do something and you didn't need to do that, or that wasn't your purpose, and to live a life that is your purpose, you need to do it. but you don't want to do it because you got to give up all these other things. And purpose sometimes is bigger than everything else. Like, and that's probably, to me, that's one of the hardest parts, because once again, like I said, you don't care about your friends. You don't care about your family. Time don't care about that. Like, you had 10 minutes with him, didn't you? and purpose requires that level of dedication sometimes.
Right.
To your earlier point, pushing through. I just got a video from Aries, and so we're gonna play your tune, and it's Bankroll. How are we looking on time right now? Because I do want to ask you a couple more questions. Are we good? Oh.
I got like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So that's plenty. Yeah, I thought it was like 5. Yeah, it's all good. So,
I
where
want to say one thing, because you were saying about like Jonah and the whale and all that. I feel like there's blessings in the chaos, even though like things can be chaotic or crazy or like any of that. There can be blessings in that, and I think that it's important to just keep pushing, even if things aren't, relaxing or always good, or you know what I mean.
Hip hop and the story of hip hop and the idea of hip hop from its conception came out of some fucked up ass shit. It was the lack of. We didn't have studios. We didn't have the electronics. We didn't have, but we had this, and we had unity, and we had our streets, and we had the ability to communicate. And so we made an entire industry out of what was in here. And so to your point, you don't need everything. You just, and I love saying this because I hear my kids, and I know a lot of kids say it, you had one job to do. And so sometimes that's the most difficult thing to accept. That it wasn't all of these other things. It was just one thing you had to do, and you're just hoping that you did it. Like, did I do it? Was this what I was supposed to do, and did I do it? So if like I say, if you can sleep at night and this is what you're supposed to do, then that shit is dope, and that's the story of hip hop, because that's purpose. Like, there's no amount of poverty, there's no amount of heartbreak, there's no amount of, anything that could crush people to stop you from doing what you're doing. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's dope. Where can people pick up your music? Do you have a website that people can go to and check out some of your art, some of your music, some of your clothing? Like, where can they go, like, immediately to find all of this?
So I have 2 different websites, one for my clothing and then one for my art. My art website is haleysart.com. So that's HALEYSART.com. And then my clothing website is weardreamworld.com. So that's WEAR, like you're wearing it.
Right.
And then Dreamworld, DREAMWORLD.com. So
right.
All my apparel on there.
And it's the apparel, is it for everyone?
They're unisex t-shirts, so either guys or girls can wear them. They're actually men's t-shirts, but like I said, girls can wear them. Like, this is a man's t-shirt, and I'm wearing it right now. So
okay, gotcha.
And but it's pink. So I mean, some guys like wearing pink, some don't. Just depends on what your preference is.
But shout out to my man Cameron, the king of pink. Yes,
right. Right.
All of them, stand up. Let's go.
So, they're unisex t-shirts. Some of the other sweatshirts and hoodies are just girls. Some are more guys, but, just depends on what, people like and stuff. So, yeah, and then the hats are for anybody, really.
Dope.
Yeah,
and then go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
The music is on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, pretty much everything. So yeah. Then it's Haley J with the A upside down. So HVLEY J and then class.
Yo, and yo, that shit is funny that you brought that up because I thought she typoed it when she was in the description. I'm like, what the hell did she? Because she like did it on a few things, and I'm like, is that a typo? But no. Shout out to you. You knew. So, but yo, that's I think we gotta support our artists. We've been batting around an idea of we need a union for artists and entertainers to collectively look out for our interest, because there's machines out there looking out for the machine's interests. They have the lawyers, they have all the people in place that look out for them, their benefits, their ability to come back if they lose everything. Like we don't, as artists, as entertainers, as musicians, as engineers, et cetera, we don't have that. We don't have any representation. And it's all based on, if you know, or if you know someone that knows. And it stops there. It doesn't even continue. It's kind of like we got to figure out a way nationwide, and maybe that's where it starts before it gets to worldwide, but nationwide. How do we form a union collectively as all entertainers? Because I view our being entertainers as similar to what the hospitality industry is. People think you make big money on tips, which is the tickets, which is the merch, which is all of these things, but they don't realize all the hours, all the work you put in. So you might work 9, 6, 10 hours a day, and yeah, you might have made $300 or $400, but that might wind up looking like $5 an hour after all the hours you put into it. And then you don't, like most servers, they don't have benefits.
True. Entrepreneur.
No life insurance. No, you're right. No health benefits. But we're business in name only for a lot of us. We are small business. We are business, but like most businesses and corporations, the Columbias, the Warner Brothers, the Facebooks, the YouTube, they have full infrastructures that protect them from being hurt by any of us. How come we don't have that in place as artists? So I'm just saying that, hey, this is something that we really need to start looking into, because not only is it for artists like yourself, but what about the artists that are coming behind you?
Right, exactly. I mean, there's the word starving artist for a reason. It's
right.
Because, there isn't a formula. There isn't like a guarantee that you're just going to be rich and make all this money and be successful.
But it shouldn't be you either rich or homeless.
Right. It's one or the other.
There should be like
right. Look at Van Gogh. He, according to history, that I guess he barely had enough money to even eat, and he would exchange his paintings for food and get paid barely anything. And nowadays his paintings are worth so much, but it didn't happen until later on, until he was dead, which is really awful, because they have this thing like, oh, you'll make it when you die, or you'll be successful when you die, which is horrible.
Well, who does that benefit? Like I would benefit your
that
family.
Whole concept. You know what's
That's
crazy?
a horrible business model for the starving artist, but a great business model for Walmart. That's excellent. Let's kill those motherfuckers. Let's make sure they're dead, and then we collect all the winnings. It's just, that shit is fucking insane. It's just it's so insane. But we as a collective, we should come together as artists, entertainers, as the fucking roadies, the people that help you on tour, the drivers that bus everybody from hotel to show. All of this shit is hospitality. We're serving people. Our job is to serve. It shouldn't be about whether the union collects riches, because that's not what it's about. The union should only protect your interests. It should protect you enough for you to not to get robbed of being able to feed your kid, or being able to help maybe somebody else, some of the newer artists from learning, because all of this shit has been rumor forever. Unless you know somebody that's been in the industry, most people go in the industry not even knowing anything about it. They just know they want to do the music. And they're starving. So if you hang a piece of steak in front of them, who's not going to eat it? And we just have to be better humans in sharing these informations and find people that went to school, the lawyers, the publicists, the journalists, to be on this, to be on our side as well. Because a lot of the journalists and publicists, they're on the side of the industry, and we need some people on our side as well. And there's a lot of people that are willing to do the kind of work to bring this together. And I'm only saying this to you because, once again, we're all heading into this new chapter of the music industry, to new system being developed as we speak. And we all need to be totally focused on how we can do our necessary steps to change certain things so that our kids, your kids, are not having to deal with the same problems.
I agree. Not so segregated.
Because we're the chefs of the world. We serve sonic food. That
starts with people wanting to be genuine and help and look out for other people instead of hating on people. I think that's where it starts. It starts within yourself, and not you, but I'm just saying in general.
No. Yeah, you're good.
People wanting to be a part of something and not
bigger than themselves, right?
Yeah, because there's just people that get jealous, oh, you did this, and then they hate on each other. It's because they might be feeling bad about themselves because they would like to be successful, but for whatever reason,
what is success? But what really is success at the end of the day for a lot of artists? Success may be what the industry decided they wanted you to be. For a lot of artists, it's not their choice to play the role of being, having diamonds and mansions and just all these things that we see as marketing. For a lot of artists, J. Cole is a great artist as an example. J. Cole, he was yo, I did that. I went out and bought $100,000 chain, and I realized that was the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. But we're not having that conversation of information flowing enough to whereas we can actually carry on the. You know why they do that to you? So that you'll be so focused on looking like you're rich that you won't care no longer that you're not poor. Mm-hmm. And then you're poor. once they recoup everything back, once they take all of that back, or once the world robs you of it, because the world does that too. It'll take it away. It'll find ways to take it away. And then you're back to where you started from, which was the starving artist that all he cared about was doing his music, i.e. Jonah the whale. You wind up coming out of that whale and God's there waiting for you. See, I told you we're coming back. But I just wanted to say that because, as artists, man, we all have a responsibility to look out for one another. If you get fucked, there's only a certain amount of time until I get fucked. If you're getting raped and nobody's looking out for you, you may think that's a one-offer, but it isn't. It's actually more likely now that I'm going to get screwed. And we need to start viewing our contributions and looking at it like we're all in this together. and there's a big machine that only wants to view us as products and take everything from us. And hey, we need to be honest. We need to be, I don't say pick sides, but we definitely need to have more representation as all artists. And I believe even the ones that hate would agree that being alone is really not a viable option in this world. You're better with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many artists out here that have representation. That we're this global community of artists is so dope. We definitely need to come together. And I think 2021 is the beginning of that moment where we're all getting together.
Not so separated. I feel like the government wanted to separate us, with this.
Well, that's true too. But you
so
can't
finding a way to still, be together. But, I know a lot of people are like wanting to we wear masks and stay 6 feet apart. It's crazy that the government is mandating us to be separate. So now it's like, how can we come back together in a way that's safe and positive and works?
Right. And well, this is the beginning. This is the beginning. We're talking from opposite sides of the country. I think, this needs to continue. We need to all be talking to each other, communicating, letting each other know where we're at and how we see things. Because once people can understand why you're doing what you're doing, you build a stronger bond with them that people now will always support you, regardless to what.
I agree.
And I think I thank you for talking to our city of Orlando. I thank you for doing what you're doing. We encourage that, man. I think we don't have enough of artists willing to put everything on the line. And man, God bless you for doing everything you're doing right now. So
thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on the show and just supporting me as an artist and having some cool conversations with me about art and hip hop and what's going on in the world. And I like that you're, talking about people being what it's like for people being alone right now, because I know a lot of people are struggling and, finding happiness within yourselves, regardless of all this craziness that's going on, is really important, and to not let people,
silence you.
Yeah.
Silence you. And keep us where we're not talking. I was just talking to a brother, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was just talking to a brother today about the idea of this all being some way to keep us feeling like it's okay to not know. And I'm a proponent of ignorance. I love ignorance. You know why? Because there's certain things you do need to be ignorant of. You need to be ignorant of hate. You need to be ignorant of some childish ass bullshit. You need to be ignorant of drama. But there's also things that should be talked about and should be discussed. And when we don't talk, we just live on assumptions. And we've made a world in which we're all living on assumptions, and we're not talking enough together. We're talking to ourselves. I'm a maniac. I know you talk to yourself. I know any person that's dedicated their life to doing anything purposeful talks to themselves. But we're not talking to each other. And we need to talk to each other. And sometimes it just takes a give and take.
Even saying like, hey, I'm not okay. I just need someone to talk to. That's okay.
Right. And even not having the answers should be okay. Like, we all want to fix shit. Some things aren't your job to fix, but it is your job to listen, because they're your neighbor. They're your people. They're contributing to your life too. And so we all need to find better ways of being, one thing about this show is that, and I was making a point, I brought a point, which one thing about this show, I like to humanize the people that come on the show, because we need humanity right now.
That's true.
We need people to be human right now.
Right.
And one side of the story is your success, whatever that is. And then there's the other side of your story, which is, are you human? Do you
Right.
feel? Are you numb?
I'm definitely human.
Right. Did you numb out? No, because people are
Slash
numbed out.
robot.
Right. People are numbed out. Like, right, robot. And completely numb
I'm human,
to
Miss Robot.
everything. But we need better humans. We need better people to talk to each other. And this is what we're doing. And I'm so honored that you came on the show tonight. I love the idea of being able to talk to strangers and making friends, and talk to my global family whenever possible. So this is that moment. And I thank you for coming on the show, Mama.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time. And thank you to everyone listening. Thank you for your time. And I hope that you stay positive and keep pushing and following your dreams, no matter what people say, and no matter what obstacles you have, just keep trying. If you fall, just keep going, pick yourself up, and keep going. And successes shouldn't stop you or plateau you. You should keep trying to push and work harder at the next goal, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares. So like, just keep going and doing it for your legacy, for your, for yourself, if that's what you want to do it for, or your family. Have like a goal, not like to impress people, but to do it for a reason. Because, and if you think about it, nobody really cares unless it directly affects them. So like,
hey, and I love what you just said right there. Shout out to my girl, man. She came on here. We love you, man. Yes.
Hey, Eris.
No, but I love what you said right there. I think people care when you don't care.
Right.
When you stop caring, that's when everybody cares. And so we need to be more like Bob, or more like Bill, or whatever that meme is. We need to start being more like that. And the idea of, right, like the art came to you. The responsibility is to be the messenger of that purpose, that particular thing that you're doing. And if you care about what everybody else says, then you're not believing in your purpose to begin with. You should be doing it just on GP. But who wants to look like the maniac rolling up like, man, your life is so dope. Man, you ain't even got nothing. What are you talking about? Man, dog, I got a purpose, man. I'm going to do this. What are you talking about? There's no proof of it. Well, I'm sorry for you, buddy. He showed it to me. But we should be those people, man. At the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter, to your point, what anybody thinks. That's yours. That's your job. You had one job to do, and they ain't had nothing to be involved with caring about what anybody else said. Fucking Haley Jane on the damn show tonight. Give it up one damn time. We love you, man. Thank you for coming on tonight and talking some real shit, because we need that real shit right now.
Right.
Perseverance.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope you have an amazing night, everybody. And I'm about to go watch this Braves game at the stadium. So
shout out to the Peach State, ATL. Thank you for coming on. Give it up for Haley Jane, everybody. Let's go.
Thank you.
Man. Yo, you know how we do it, man. This is how we do it. We talk to the people and let the chips fall where they may. This is what we do. Why? Because this is the sound of Orlando, man. Shout out to Haley Jane. We support what she's doing out there, man. The artwork, the clothing line, the music. Anybody pursuing their dreams and doing it for real should be applauded, just off GP. We live in a time right now where people are so fixated on grudges, on things that harmed them before, on the way they want things to be, and they're never going to be that way. We have so many people just focus on these things that can really fuck you up and blind you to your own fucking blessings. It harms nobody else. it harms you. We should all be better stewards of our own dreams. Find a way, like I said, if that's mentorship, if that's brotherhood, if that's being family, whatever it is, find ways to go talk to someone. It could be your friend, it could be your brother, it could be a complete stranger. Find ways to go talk to people and figure that shit out. You deserve it. The world deserves it. We've been told that talking to each other is not a good thing because you never know. Your kids may turn this or your kids may do this. And we've been bred to believe some bullshit that's bullshit. We should talk to each other, man. I'm representing the city of Orlando, man. I'm telling you. That's a challenge to anybody in the city. I'm telling you, and I'm looking y'all right in y'all damn face. You live in this city, you want to holler at me, man. I will listen. I will talk to you. There's no fucking reason in hell that we need to be continuing to look at each other as complete strangers simply because we didn't grow up with you or we're not monetary helping you. I'm challenging the whole city, man. Y'all want to live that way? There's plenty of people out here right now that ain't trying to live that way anymore. I met some good brothers today. Shout out to that whole movement right there in downtown Orlando off of Fairbanks. They're doing some good things out there. Shout out to my man Quazim, a.k.a. Low Balls, man. Introducing me to some people out there, man. There's people out here that have been waiting to have the conversation. Are you ready? Are you ready to change what has been the status quo in this city? Which is every man for themselves, and it's all about me. Are you willing to consider something other than that? Because that system has been in place for fucking decades. It has not worked, and only a few people enjoyed the spoils of that particular mentality. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, there's so many people that live in this city that deserve better. That ain't trying to look at their lives like, oh, we all gonna get behind one person to tell everyone's story. Really? Is that what we're doing? Come on, man. We're better than that. Shout out to the entire city of the ORL. This is the sound of Orlando. Shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. We love y'all. We love your support. And this is what we're doing, man. This is how we doing it. We changing this fucking shit. Kicking and screaming. We changing this whole damn thing. Mark my words. Sound of Orlando, baby.
Live on stage, the sound.
Of Orlando.
So, is they ready?
Yes.
The sound.